Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video, and we talk about some newly shown Marvel Legends. This time we have from the newest Spider-Man series with the SP-RD build or DR build a figure. So yeah, so this is an interesting wave. This is a wave when I saw it was first revealed at Toy Fair, and I have to say I'm not loving this wave as a whole, but I'm loving a piece of it. So this is kind of an interesting wave for me. But let's get into it now that we have the official images. We get to see them all in package as well, not only the official images of the toys, but the official images of the packages. So starting off here, we have Scarlet Spider. This looks like a neat Spider-Man character or figure. As far as his paint job, he's very plain. He's mainly red with some black pieces, but I do like his accessories. He comes with a nice looking head sculpt. I believe that's a new sculpt. It does look quite good. And I love the hands that have like the spikes coming out of the wrists. I think that those look excellent. That's something that's going to be fun and unique pose wise from most Spider-Man figures. But the coloring on the suit is rather plain, and of course he comes with the left arm there. Then we have the House of M Spider-Man. This is another Spider-Man that's, again, nothing too special here. It's your standard Spider-Man sculpt. You have a little bit more blue than red, of course. I do like the blue. It's a very deep blue, which I think is very cool. So I do like the fact that the blue it very much pops, and it takes up a lot more of the suit than your traditional Spider-Man costume. And then he does come with a new web accessory, which is kind of fun. You can kind of probably prop him up on places, have him like in your collection, kind of swinging on something. You could probably put a nail on the wall and have him like swinging from that. That would be very cool. So for pose wise, it kind of works, but figure wise, again, nothing too interesting for just in my opinion, because I'm not like a big fan of the character or this particular design of Spider-Man. So again, the figure looks a little boring, but it does come with the right leg. Then we have Daredevil. This is in his kind of black costume. Daredevil's a character that I'm just not really into as well. Like a lot of the characters in this series, I'm not a big fan of, which is interesting. I enjoy the Netflix show of Daredevil and like things like that. But just character wise, I've never been a big Daredevil fan, especially comic Daredevil. I've never been too into him. So, and again, I kind of prefer his regular costume, which I do already have. This figure, I believe, is mainly a repaint of the original Daredevil, except the boots and arms look new. So I think from probably the knee down and the elbow down is a new sculpt, but the rest looks rather similar. And then head sculpt wise, I'm not quite sure if it's a new sculpt. I don't think they certainly don't need to do a new head sculpt because the first one, like, there's no change in expression or anything. But yeah, I do like his accessory though that he comes with, his kind of nunchuck pieces. I do like the way that it's like really swooshed, and it can make for some fun poses. Having him like he's about to chuck that, so I think that does look quite nice. And of course he comes with the right arm. Then I have Elektra. Elektra I like even less than Daredevil. Again, like I enjoyed her to some degree in the Netflix shows, but just otherwise, I've never been an Elektra fan. The figure though does look nice. I think the head sculpt looks good. I like the red; looks very vibrant, and she does look like a solid figure. I like the fact that she is able to hold her dagger like that, like in between the two fingers. They did that with the Netflix Daredevil or Netflix Elektra figure. And I really enjoyed that, so I'm glad that they've kept that for the comic version as well. I think that's important. And yeah, she comes with another leg. Then we have Cloak and Dagger. Again, I've never been a big fan of Cloak and Dagger. It's a weird wave for me because it's just like most of the figures that are in this wave, I'm not a big fan of. So it's kind of odd. But she looks like an interesting figure as far as I love her accessory and her hand movements. Like those seem to be the hands that came with the Beetle and Wasp. So I like those expressive hands, and I like her little piece that can be like hooked to her wrist and have it like she's throwing those like knives or those beams of light. I think that's very cool. But figure wise, she does just look like a standard repaint. Head sculpt is decent, but nothing too special. She's lacking some expression there, unfortunately. She does come with a torso, as you can see. And then Dagger, the TV show for Cloak and Dagger is just coming out, so I guess it's very timely that these figures are being released. Dagger looks a little more interesting. I think that his cape looks really cool. I love the mixture of black and blue. That's something that I really haven't seen from another Dagger figure, or Cloak. Sorry, Dagger is the other one. Sorry, Cloak. Yeah, I think that he looks very cool as far as how it's. First of all, the cloak itself is really well sculpted. It looks very grand, but it does look like it's like it has weight to it, which I definitely like a lot. It has a lot of wrinkles, and I love the fact that the wrinkles are all color coded, black and blue. They just look excellent. I'm hoping that in person it looks as good as this photo. So again, I'm not a big fan of Cloak, but I do love the design of his cloak. So that is quite nice. Head sculpt wise looks pretty good. I like his just kind of pure white eyes. I think that looks nice. And then the hand looks like it has some good expression. But I would imagine the rest of the body is pretty standard. And he does come with the head for the Build-A-Figure. And then lastly, the figure that doesn't come with a Build-A-Figure piece. This is the figure that I've been waiting for so long, Dr. Octopus. I'm very excited for this character. Figure-wise, I think it's 100% a new sculpt, and it looks marvelous. Like they did, of course, do his proportion very nicely. I like that it's a nice classic Doc Ock as well. I like the head sculpt here. He's got such an expression to him, very classic Doc Ock. And he looks like he has excellent articulation as well. And then the arms, I believe they're going to be kind of like rubber with a wire in them, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure, but that would be kind of nice. I would have preferred had it like each arm had its individual articulation. However, I certainly don't expect that for just a single figure. I'm very surprised that this isn't the Build-A-Figure. I always thought that we would get a Doc Ock figure, but I always thought it would be a Build-A-Figure. So first of all, I couldn't be any happier that he's not the Build-A-Figure because, again, like I mentioned, I'm not a big fan of any of the characters in the series, which means I don't really want to get them. So I'm so glad that I don't have to worry about buying those other figures just to complete Dr. Octopus. This is one of the first series that I think I'm just going to buy one figure and I'm going to be just all right with that. I don't think I'm going to really struggle with, I really want the Build-A-Figure, but I don't care for the figures because that happens quite often. But this is not the case because the one figure that I want is the one figure that doesn't come with a Build-A-Figure piece, and I couldn't be any happier because this looks like just an excellent figure. Very excited for this Doc Ock, and I'm really excited to kind of build a nice Sinister Six collection. I'm a big Spider-Man villain fan. Doc Ock is of course a classic Spider-Man villain and the leader of the Sinister Six in most iterations, especially the classic version. So I am very excited for this figure. He looks tremendous. I'm very interested to see how the arms work and like if they are rubber with wire, like how posable they actually are. So they look excellent. Had he been the Build-A-Figure though, I would have liked to see the arms actually have like solid points of articulation throughout it, kind of how they did the lizard's tail. And then here's the Build-A-Figure. This is a really interesting character. It's a character that I actually don't have much knowledge about, but he does look very interesting. I like the fact that he has like those kind of chicken bent legs. I think that looks very cool. And he does look like he has some good articulation. I think that he's kind of lacking ankle-wise, but it looks like he has double hinge knees, very wide double hinge knees too, ball jointed hips, probably a ball jointed upper torso, ball jointed shoulders, I think hinge swivel elbows, and then hinge swivel wrists, and then a head, of course, I would assume is a ball joint. So he looks very interesting. He's got a unique look to him, which makes me curious about him. But personally, I don't really have much of a desire for him. Had the rest of the figures, or at least some of the figures in this wave, really piqued my interest, then maybe I would complete him. But considering the only figure that piques my interest is one that doesn't even come with a Build-A-Figure piece, I think I'm just gonna stick with Dr. Octopus. This is a rare wave for me where I don't think I'm going to buy many of the figures. But I do think this Dr. Octopus is going to be by far the most popular figure of the wave, and therefore the hardest to get. However, I do plan on picking up that Dr. Octopus. So I'd love to know what you guys think of this, the rest of the assortment. If you guys are digging the characters in this. I know a lot of these characters are popular, like Cloak and Dagger and Elektra and Daredevil, but just personally, I've never been a big fan of any of those. So, I'm just, everybody kind of has their preference when it comes to characters, and those are ones that just don't pique my interest very much. So, personally, cannot wait for this Dr. Octopus, but the rest of the wave is kind of an easy pass for me. So, I definitely love to hear what you guys think of this wave in general, and thanks so much for watching.